Hello, everyone. Hello. Thank you for joining in. We're going to allow some time for folks to get on in. We have a good crowd here, so super excited for everyone who's joining us. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. So we are excited that you all are entering in for this afternoon's event. Before we begin, we would love to know who all is joining us. So to do that, first locate that chat button you should see at the bottom of your screen and change who sees your chat to all panelists and attendees. So we all want to be one big happy family so that we all know who's all here. If you're a BCU graduate, please share with us your graduation year and which program you graduated from. And if you're a current student, you can still do the same. Let us know when you're graduating and for what program. And if you are here just to join in on today's discussion, let us know who you are too and where you're tuning in from. So it's totally fine to say, I am on the couch, I am in the bed still with my pajamas on, but I'm here. I'm here for the information and to know about the psychology of spending. So we would love to know who's all in the room with us. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So it's excited to see who is all here. Oh, exciting. We have a money coach here, Chris. So maybe Tiara can help us out here as well. So thank you all so much. So I will go ahead and get started because I know Chris has a lot of great information for us, so I don't want to delay. So welcome everyone to our second panel of the Adulting 101 series on the psychology of spending. My name is Letitia Taylor, and I am the Director of Alumni Career and Personal Development with VCU Office of Alumni Relations. Before I turn it over to our wonderful moderator for today's conversation, I would like to just go over a few housekeeping points. So we will be recording this afternoon's event. So don't worry if you blinked a little too hard and missed a few seconds of the presentation. The recording will be available. There's also live closed captioning available that you should see at the bottom. If you're not seeing that, to access, locate the live transcript button at the bottom of your screen. And once clicked, you select show subtitles from the menu and you should be able to see it. If you are having any issues accessing this feature, message our VCU alumni chat bot for assistance. I would like to thank those that were able to submit questions for our presenter while registering. We will try to get to as many questions submitted as possible, but throughout the presentation, feel free to submit any questions you might have via the Q&A pane of the control panel that you should see at the bottom of your screen as well. As we get through today's presentation, we will continue with questions that have been submitted during the event if time allows. So without further ado, I would now like to turn it over to our moderator, Carolyn McCray, the Director of Financial Wellness with the Virginia Credit Union Financial Success Center at VCU. Take it away, Carolyn.
Thank you, Letitia. So happy to be here. So I have the great privilege of introducing all of you to our presenter this afternoon. So please welcome Chris Woodbury. He is a passionate advocate for financial confidence, here to help all of us gain the knowledge to become financially secure. Currently, Chris serves as the Financial Partnership Manager for the Virginia Credit Union and has been with the credit union for over 25 years. Past roles for Chris have included branch manager, loan officer, and quality service manager. So he is a tried and true expert for all things personal finance. Chris is a financial security advocate outside of work, currently serving on the advisory board of the Family Self-Sufficiency Program of Richmond Redevelopment and Housing, a vital community resource which helps residents in public housing transition to home ownership. Chris is also an avid road cyclist, as you can probably tell from what's in his background on the screen there. And you can find him riding up to 100 miles a week all over the Richmond area. So Chris, I will turn it over to you. It is your show, and just ask that anybody who's got questions for Chris, make sure to use that Q&A function, and we will be monitoring that throughout the presentation.
Carolyn, thank you so much. That was such a kind introduction. And so I always tell people when I have a session, it's not my session, it's our session. So we learn together, we're a family. So if you have some questions, feel free to engage. I'd love to hear the feedback. And we're going to talk about money and how it impacts our psychology today. And so to get started, I'm going to share my screen and we will get started. Can you guys see my screen? All right, let me see here.
Looks great.
All right. Sure thinking. So we're gonna get started and we're gonna talk about the psychology of spending. So just give you a little background about myself. So I grew up in Jackson Ward. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Richmond area. That's the projects. I was the first person in my immediate family to go to college and graduate. I went to VCU. When I was going to VCU, my second year, going to my third year, I started working at Sovereign Bank or Nation Bank at the time. It was right at Robinson and Broad, right across from the train station. Bank is still there. I think it's Bank of America now. But that's where I was introduced to finance and money. And I would tell you this, I had some ideas about money growing up, man. One of the things, the idea I had was we didn't have that much. We had a limited supply. And so that kind of formed my opinion when it came to money, spending. And if you talk to my wife today, she always says, dude, you have some money now, you can spend it. But I don't, and it impacts what I do. So my childhood impacts a lot of what I do. And you're going to find out during this presentation, events in your life, your childhood, your upbringing, your social environment, all those things impact our spending decisions. And so what I'm going to show you on the screen are some things, some things that are familiar to us, some things that we say. And you tell me, have you said any of these phrases and when they come up? Have you ever said this to yourself? I work hard. I deserve it. You only live once. I'm going to reward myself. You can't take it with you. I'll pay that next month. It's on sale. So if you said any of those things, and we all have, I'm gonna tell you some of the things, those statements lead to some of the problems we have. And I would tell you this, I was sharing this with Carolyn before. Sometimes we like to think of ourselves as being unique, but really we share same similarities. I mean, a whole lot of similarities when it comes to our money. And there are three things that we do and we all share in common. And I don't care what your background is, your education level, where you came from, how you were raised. We all share these three things. And when these three things come up on the screen next, you tell me if you have not done this before or we share this in common. Here's the first one. We spend too much money. You think so? And we spend too much money because those things on the left side of the screen tell us to spend that much money. We spend too much money. And when we spend too much money, this is what we say after we do that. Why did I buy this? Have you ever purchased something that had buyer's remorse right after you bought it? Or maybe a few minutes after you bought it, a day, a week later, and you say to yourself, why did I buy the same blue shirt and I got 20 blue shirts already in my closet? So think about that. Here's the next thing that we do. We don't save enough money. And so this used to be me all the time. People ask me, hey man, I want to do this, I want to do that. I say, dude, I'm broke, man. My savings account is on zero. I can't go with you this time. I'm gonna have to catch you next time. So again, we spend too much and we don't save enough. But because we want to enjoy our life and have things, you know what we do after that? We rely on credit too much. Because we don't have a savings account, we don't have our spending under control. The next thing we do is put it on credit. And when we put it on credit, it makes us say something like this. I feel like I'm working just to pay off debts or bills. And so those are some of the things we want to avoid. We want to make sure we don't spend too much money. And I'm not saying we can't spend money and enjoy our life. We want to make sure we have it under control and we're making an informed decision when we make those purchases. Then we want to make sure we do save money. We're going to talk about a mind flip later on in the presentation where we would rather pay somebody else than pay ourselves. So we have to think about that. And then we want to make sure that we're not relying on credit. Because you know what? Quick story here. My dream job. I don't know if you guys, some of you young people might not recognize this. My dream job, I always wanted to be a salesperson at an eyeglass hut. I want to work on the beach. I want to walk around with a t-shirt and shorts on all day at some exotic beach, just selling sunglasses and hats and cups and stuff like that, right? But you know what? Because of my bills and the debts that I've accumulated, I can't get my dream job right now. So hopefully down the road, when I can eliminate some of my debt, I can get my dream job. But again, so we're going to talk about those things as we go on in the presentation. So let's go to this next screen. Now, here's some things that impact our spending. And a lot of times these factors, these outside factors impact our spending. We don't even know that they're impacting us. And the majority of the time, they're not impacting us in the best way. So here are some of those factors. Whether it's psychological, personal, social, cultural, marketing programs, they all influence our spending. And you think it's not true, I'll give you a prime example. We started learning about the concept of money probably in elementary school. And I'm gonna tell you when it first hit you, when you said, oh man, a light bulb went off. You went to the store with your mom or dad, and your mom or dad gave you some money. So you went to the store and you go into the store, and now your mom and dad ask you, hey, go and buy whatever you want. You have some money, but they're not gonna give you any more money other than what you have. And so now you have to make a decision on what you're gonna buy. And right then we start making decisions on how we can spend our money. Here's the thing though, right then there also, that's when outside influences impact us. Because you know what, you're gonna go to the store and say you got some money for your birthday or some extra money, and you go to the store and you tell your mom and dad you want to buy 7 bags of candy. And they'll tell you something like this. Well, baby, do you sure you want to spend all your money on that candy? Won't you save some today? Save, don't spend all your money today, save some for next week. But that's when those social influences start impacting us. And not only they impact us when we're small, they continue to impact us today. And not only now the voices have gone from mom and dad, now the voices go to our peers, our feelings ourselves, where we think where we should be. And those outside influences about marketing programs and advertisers. So there's so many people impacting our spending decisions. Our goal today is to make sure that we're making an informed decision, and we're kind of filtering out some of the things that impact and impact our decisions. So let's go to this next one. So what we want to do right now is uncover some spending triggers. So a series of questions are going to come up, and just think about it. You can answer in the chat if you want to, but just think about how you would answer these questions. First one, what type of products and services do you enjoy spending money on? If I were to give you $1,000 right now and tell you you cannot spend it on a bill, you cannot give it to anyone, I want you to spend that $1,000 on you, what would you buy? Because I want you to think about what are your spending triggers, what would you purchase with that $1,000? And again, you can't spend it on anyone else. You have to spend it on you. What's going to bring a smile to your face? For me, you gave me $1,000 right now, I'll probably be trying to buy another bicycle. But I have 3 already, but which is ridiculous. But that's another story. But again, though, what would bring a smile on your face? Next question. Why do you think you enjoy spending money on them? And again, for me, I love being outside. I grew up riding bicycles. That was one of my greatest enjoyment. I remember when I was 10 years old, I got a bicycle for Christmas, man. It was a Swin. It was so sweet, man. That thing was red. Man, I thought I was the best thing since sliced bread. It was awesome. So I've continued that love for cycling. And so for me, I know that's why I enjoy spending money on those things. In what ways do you think you're a good spender? Are you a good spender? Are you a bargain shopper? Do you look for deals? Do you look around? Do you compare prices? Do you compare items in stores? So are you a good spender? This next one. Now, what spending habits would you like to change? Are you an impulse shopper? Are you an emotional shopper? Do you buy things for people to express your love? One of the things that a lot of people often do, say they get into a relationship and they want to express their love to someone, and so they express their love by making a purchase, right, or buying an object or expensive present or something. But a lot of times when we're in a relationship, and I'm not trying to give any type of relationship advice, but a lot of times when we give a relationship, don't people tell us, well, you don't have to buy anything for me, just spend time with me. And so again, we don't have to spend money. I know that's what I used to do when I was younger and before I got married. I mean, if I had a girlfriend and Valentine's Day came around about 3 weeks before Valentine's Day, I would break up with her so I wouldn't have. No, I'm just kidding. No, let me stop. I wouldn't. I'm stop playing. All the ladies, all you guys are getting upset. No, well, sometimes I did, but anyway. But again, though, what are those spending triggers, right? And then if you do have some habits you want to change, how can you change them? How can you change them? We have to take a systematic approach to changing. We just can't say, you know what, I'm gonna stop spending money on X, Y, and Z because it's not gonna work. We have to take a systematic approach on how we're gonna change them, and we have to make sure we put that change in action, and we have to stick to it. So we're gonna talk about that today as well as we go through this. So advertisement, and I hope there are not any used car salesmen on it, but I love this picture right here. This shirt is just absolutely fantastic. But advertisement, and I'm gonna tell you this about advertisement. The sole purpose for advertisement is to get us to buy something. That's the sole purpose. I don't care if it's a catchy jingle. The packaging looks nice. The wording is great. The marketing program is absolutely awesome. But their sole purpose is to get us to make a purchase. And so I've actually heard my wife tell me this before. She's actually made a purchase and bought something just because the packaging looks great. I'm like, okay, you're not really worried about what's on the inside of it. She said, it looks good on the outside. And so she bought that. But she's not alone. A lot of people do that. So we package things to make it look great. But again, the sole purpose for advertisement is to make us spend our money. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with that, but we have to be aware of that and make sure that we're not influenced by those appeals that they put before us. So, because here's what happened. We'll go to a used car salesman and the outside of the car looks great. But the next thing you know, our best friends are the auto mechanics, because we're taking that car back and forth to auto mechanic all day long. And I can attest to this, because when I graduated from VCU, I actually went to a car company called E.G. Bradley. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It was E.G. Bradley Sports Car Company. I brought me a Fiat Spider. It was a 1981, 82 Fiat. It looked great on the outside. On the inside and the engine, it was horrible. And the car stayed at the mechanic more than it stayed on the road. I only kept the car for 2 years. It was one of the worst purchases I ever made in my life. But again, though, I wanted that car because on the outside, it looked great. The salesman was awesome. It was a European sports car. I thought I was a cool guy driving the car around. And but again, majority of the time it stayed on the side of the road or at the mechanic. So then it's something we have to think about, when we're advertising, that it's going to influence us. We have to make sure that we're taking that in consideration. Look at our next screen. So spending is emotional. And so here's a question. What percentage of our consumer spending is driven by emotion? So on a scale of 1 to 100, what percentage of our consumer spending you think is driven by emotion? You know what, Carolyn, I'm gonna let you unmute yourself and you give me a number. What you think? On a scale of 1 to 100, what percentage of our spending decisions are driven by emotion?
Ooh, so average person maybe like 65%, but for me like 75%.
Okay, 75%. All right, all right.
And we're getting some really good guesses in here. We've got
okay. Share those guesses.
We've got 62%, 85, 65, 100%, 70%. So on the high end for sure.
On the high end for sure. All right, awesome, awesome. Good answers. The answers is actually 95% of our spending decisions are driven by emotion. Now that seems like a high number, but I would tell you it is absolutely right. And if you think it's not true, go back to those opening statements that we read from the first screen. I deserve it. I work hard. You only live once. I can't take it with me. Man, I've been at work all week. It's been a rough day. I'm gonna treat myself at the end of the week. You know what we do when we say those statements? We're actually trying to justify in our mind a decision that our heart has already made. And we know it may not be a smart decision, but we're justifying it because now we're saying, you know what, I need it. The emotion is telling us that I need it. And I would tell you this, guys, it absolutely is the truth. Again, I've been in finance for 30 years. My wife would tell you, man, I am the spreadsheet guru. I write everything down. I don't like spending money, but when it comes to my family, that's a soft spot for me. So I have 2 daughters and a son. My 2 daughters can come to me right now when I'm in the middle of this presentation, say, hey, Dad, I need you to go and do something. And I was like, okay, guys, I'll see y'all later. Because they have me wrapped around their finger, but it's that emotional pull. And yeah, is it unreasonable? It absolutely is unreasonable. But again, 95% of our spending is driven by our emotion. And so for us, one of the things we want to do, and somebody mentioned, how can we get our emotional spending under control? They mentioned in one of the previous questions earlier, you know what we can do? We have to subtract emotion from the equation. And so as we go through this presentation, we're going to show you how you can do that. Because again, is the emotion going to still get in the way? Absolutely. Are we going to be 100% successful and subtract the emotion all the time? We're not. But can we get up to maybe 75 to 80%? Absolutely. Where we're saying, okay, I'm going to make an informed decision. This is not going to be an emotional decision. I'm going to look at the numbers, and the numbers, it doesn't make sense, or it's not reasonable, then we're not going to make that purchase. All right. Let's go to the next slide.
Chris, I think that's tying into quite a few questions that we're getting in, and I think you're going to touch on a few of these, but we've got some questions about recovering after splurging, using shopping as a coping mechanism, and then what do you do to avoid emotional spending? So this is touching on this is resonating with a lot of our guests here today.
Absolutely. Now I'll definitely answer some of those questions absolutely on this slide as well. Thank you so much. Great. So we're talking about advertising, we're talking about playing with our emotions, and I'm gonna tell you how it works. So we're gonna show you a series of pictures, and we're talking about some celebrity endorsers, and you tell me, would you buy something because somebody because a celebrity endorses and say, hey, you know what? I use this, and I think you should use it too. So think about this. So let's look at the first one. So we look here comes from the emotional appeal. It's health and well-being, looking at our best, our physical well-being, recognition. All those things play into our spending decisions, right? And these were advertisers play on, right? So let's look at this first picture right here. So I asked my daughter, I said, Madison, she's 20 years old. She's getting ready to graduate from nursing school. I said, Madison, who is a celebrity endorser that you might buy something? I said, give me somebody. She said, Kylie Jenner. I'm like, what, who? She said, Kylie Jenner, Dad. I'm like, well, so she sent me this picture of Kylie or whatever, right? She said, she makeup. She said, people buy her makeup all the time. I said, are you serious? She said, that's Bruce Jenner's daughter. Keep, Kardashians, the whole 9 yards. I said, for real? She said, yeah. She said, yeah, dude. And do people still say dude? I don't know. I'm an old guy, so I said, dude. So she said, yeah, dude. People buy that. I said, okay. I went and looked. Don't you know Keeping Up with the Kardashians been on for 20 years? It's their 20-year anniversary that they have influenced people. The sisters are millionaires. They've made so much money selling things. And I'm like, wow, it's so true. And we're just following these people's lives, a reality show. And because they endorse a product, we buy it. And you think it's true, it's absolutely true. And maybe not for Kylie or Kylie Jenner and those guys. But the next picture I'm going to show you, everybody in this room, everybody on Zoom today has either bought something from this guy or bought something because this guy endorsed it. And when I show you the picture, you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm just gonna let that resonate for a second, and then I'm gonna share a story with you. So hashtag be like Mike. You know what? So let's first of all, let's talk about the shoes first. The Nike brand and the Jordan brand, right? Today, Michael Jordan, who hasn't played basketball in over 20 years, his shoe is still the #1 selling shoe in the world. #1 in the world. And I knew when I was coming up, I had my Jordans and I played basketball. And I thought, like, if I get those pair of shoes, those Air Jordans, I was going to jump and it was going to improve my basketball game. It didn't, but I did look nice with my Jordans. They were clean, but it didn't improve my game. But you know what, though? Because Michael Jordan endorsed it, the packaging was great. You had celebrities, you had Spike Lee and other guys in commercials with him. The commercials were awesome. So you know what? I wanted to get a pair of Jordans. And today, even this generation of young people still are buying Jordans. When you have someone, you have a line when the next pair of shoes are released, people going to get in line or they're online trying to buy these shoes before they're even released. Think about it. And then the resale value, #1, influenced by the advertisement and by this endorser. Let's look at the bottle that's right next to him, Gatorade. Now, how many of us have tried Gatorade before? I'm gonna raise my hand so you can see it because absolutely I've tried Gatorade. I had some the other day. Now, let me ask you this question right here. Do we know where Gatorade originated? Originated from the University of Florida. Their athletic department created this drink for their football players during spring training. They were basically a regional company when they started. When Michael Jordan started being their endorser, Gatorade went to the #1 selling sports drink in America. But let's go past that to the #1 selling sports drink in the world. And it continues to be the #1 selling sports drink in the world. And I would tell you this is just me. I don't think Gatorade tastes that great, but I drink it. Every time I go for a ride, I take it with me. So let me give you this thought right here. And you tell me if this has ever happened to you, or let me show you the impact of the influence. So Caroline, listen to this right here. And I'm speaking to Caroline because I can see her. So, but I'm talking to everyone. So look at this right here, guys. So 2 years ago, I'm in my backyard. It's about 150 degrees outside. I'm cutting the grass. Okay, maybe not 150, but it felt like 150 degrees outside. I'm cutting the grass and I'm just starting the backyard and I still have to do the front yard. I'm halfway through the backyard. It's hot. And I'm like, man, I need something to drink. Now, back in the day, old school, I just went over to the water hose, turn the water hose and spray it right in my mouth and I'm good to go. Spray the rest of my body, drink some water and I'm good to go. But no, you know, that's old school. I can't do that. So now let me go in the house and get some water. Nope, I don't do that. Let me tell you what I did. Because Gatorade and influence of Gatorade and being like Mike, I stopped the lawnmower, jumped in my car, rode to Wawa, got two bottles of Gatorade, came back home and resumed cutting the grass. Now, did the Gatorade make me feel better and make me cut the grass? I was going quick and I was jumping around. No, I was still trudging along, cutting the grass. But instead of going inside the house where I could get water for free, I went to the store and got a bottle of Gatorade. And that's the influence right there. And that's the impact. That's the impact that Michael Jordan and the Gatorade company wants to have. And they have it. Because, you know, when we go to the store and we think about any type of sporting activity or any activity we have to rehydrate ourselves, they've already told us the best drink to get is Gatorade. But in reality, we know water is better than Gatorade. But we will go to the store and get that Gatorade. But that's the impact. That's the playing with our emotions. And it absolutely, absolutely works. So I ask you, what is your Gatorade? Because all of us have one. It's something that we're going by regardless. It doesn't matter what it is. We're going to go and get it. And you know, my father growing up, my father and uncle, I always share this story on this slide. My father and uncle growing up, man, they used to always play the lottery. My dad used to pay like, I guess, $25 to $40 every week playing the lottery. And sometimes he'll win, sometimes he wouldn't. And as I got older, my dad and I, we always had a relationship where I could say anything to him. That was my guy. So I was free. I'm free to tell him how I felt. So I never forget. I was about 19 or 20. I was taking some economics class, and I was doing a little spreadsheet. And I said, Dad, I said, how much money you spend on lottery tickets? He said, well, Chris, man, I've been buying lottery tickets, man. Me and your Uncle Lemon, we've been buying lottery tickets about 25 years. I said, for real? I said, how much money you spend a week? He said, yeah, I spend about $25, $35, $40 a week. I said, okay. I said, you win sometimes? He said, yeah, you know I win sometimes. I said, okay. I said, Dad, what he doing? He telling me this. What I'm doing, I'm adding, I'm calculating, I'm adding up. I said, Dad, I said, well, if you projected over the 25 years you spent that money, I said, if you just saved that, you'd had this X amount of dollars, right? He was like, dude, I didn't tell you to add up my lottery spenders. Dude, go to the store and buy me another lottery ticket and a beer and get out of here, right? But again, though, he was doing that, a habit. He had gotten to that. The lottery, in his mind growing up, hey, there was a chance to win a big bonanza. The lottery commercials kept telling me, hey, play this. You'll win. You'll win more often than you lose. But in reality, that's not the case. But he was influenced by those outside influences, by the advertisement, by his upbringing. He wanted to have some money. He wanted to have some money in a short period of time. He thought the lottery could do it. The lottery was playing to his emotion, one of his emotional needs. And that drove that spending for him. But if he would just take that money and put it away, man, how much money he could have saved and amassed over a 25-year period. That was his lottery winnings right there. So again, those are some of the things you have to think about, because the emotion, those outflying influences do play with our emotions. And one of the things, I think one of the questions came in was, what would you do after a spurt, like a splurge, or you used to do emotional spending? One thing I always do, I always tell people, don't beat yourself up. Learn from your lessons. So do all of us splurge? Absolutely, we do sometimes. And sometimes it gets so hard on us that, that emotional spending, it helps us out a little. But here's the thing though, it's only for a short period of time. And then afterwards, we'll look at the bill and then we'll say, why do we do that? One of the times that we do a lot of emotional spending, of course we do around, I already mentioned Valentine's Day, but we do a lot of emotional spending and splurging during the holidays, because we want to express our love for our loved ones. So we go out and buy expensive gifts. But then, we have buyer's remorse when it comes around January and February, and we're looking at that credit card statement. That's when we have that buyer's remorse. So again, though, we have to make sure that we can control that spending. And so as we go along in the presentation, I'll let you know how you can control that spending, because there's some things that we can take. There are some steps that can help us. And one of the steps that can help us, if we do like to do spending that way, why not have a savings account set aside for our gift giving or our shopping? So we can put away money during the month and say, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna spend more than X amount of dollars on a gift for this month, or I'm not gonna spend X amount of dollars on a gift for the entire year, but I put money away earmarked for that. So those are some of the things we can do, okay? Let's go to our next slide. Keeping up with the Joneses. Do we have any Joneses on the line today? Because we're trying to keep up with you. We're trying to keep up with your lifestyle. Keeping up with the Joneses. But I would mention this to you. You know what? Material possessions do not equal self-worth. And that's something I had to learn, because growing up, again, I grew up in the projects. And so as I went to school, graduated, my financial situation got better, I was able to afford more things. I said, oh, I'm gonna buy me the sports car. So I bought the little sports car. You know what? I'm gonna buy this car. Oh, I want to live this in this particular house. But you know what? I started to realize, hey, dude, you know, as long as you live in a nice house, a nice area, you got a car that can get you back and forth, you don't have to impress anyone. Because you know what? The people you're trying to impress, they're not paying that bill for you. So you know what? Look out for your family, what's best interest for you, and don't worry about anyone else, and don't equate what you have for your self-worth. And stop comparing yourself to others. And this is something we do. Not only we compare ourselves to our siblings and people in our peer group, we compare ourselves to our co-workers. We compare ourselves to family members, even distant family members. You ever go into the family reunion? You get to the family reunion, and cousin Mike is there. Oh, cousin Mike just got his PhD, and he's doing this and he's doing this. And I'm like, okay, man, cousin Mike is awesome. And here's lowly Chris just standing here. Well, I'm a banker. Okay. But we're not going to compare ourselves to other people, because you know what? There's always going to be people who have more stuff than us. So again, we want to make sure that we're not doing that. And I'm not saying that you can't buy any luxuries, but again, you have to make sure that we can afford it, right? So I'm going to show you a picture. And Caroline, on this picture, it's either you have to select one of these vehicles, and it's not a wrong answer, but I want to hear back from the audience, which car would they select? Here we go. Here's the first one. Here's the picture. Which one are you going to take? The Toyota Camry versus the Lexus ES.
Okay.
And both of them are nice cars, but which one are you going to take? The Toyota Camry, and both of them are 4 doors. That Lexus is nice, man. Those are nice rims on it too. So which one would you take?
Let's see. Does anybody, if you all want to chat in, all right, our first, we're divided 50-50. Okay, we've got more people are saying Camry, but a couple people are saying Lexus. We had a Camry because they don't want to pay for premium gas with the Lexus.
Okay.
So there's some good rationale there.
Okay.
And we have some questions. Hey, that looks like the same car.
Wait, who said it? First of all, it's a Camry and it's a Lexus, so it's not the same car who said that looks like the same car. And then second, all those people who say they're going to select the Camry, you're just saying it because you're trying to be politically correct. But I know really you can select that Lexus, please. I don't know you're trying to fool, because I'm going to be rolling around in the Lexus. But you know what? Actually, the person who said it looks like the same car, you're absolutely right. They are the exact same car. They're made in the same manufacturing company. They're made in the same oh my goodness, which word I'm trying to say? Same assembly line. The cars are exactly the same. And you know what? The Camry will start at $26,000. Lexus starts at $36,000, and you're paying an extra $10,000 for a symbol. If you go in right now and Google twin cars, the Camry and Lexus will come up. They're the exact same car. Body, engine, the components, everything on the car. Only thing outside different is that maybe some outside molding and the symbols on the car. But other than that, they're the exact same car. But you know, a lot of times we'll make that purchase for that Lexus because it's, you know, it's a lifestyle. It's a symbol. It gives me status. But you know what? We're spending an extra $10,000 or more for a symbol. So those are some of the things you have to think about, because again, the lifestyle is whose lifestyle we're trying to keep up with, and can we afford our lifestyle? And so to me, a practical selection would have been the Camry. Absolutely. If I find out that they're the exact same car and I'm getting the same quality and the only thing I'm getting difference is a symbol, I'm going to select the Camry. All right. Let's go down, show you another picture right here. So, but now I say this and I will show you how these things, keeping up with Jones, impact us. I'm going to show you this other picture. Okay. Take a look at this guy here. Look at this guy, Drake, man. Drake, first of all, I kind of have some beef with Drake because he's younger than me, he's better looking than me, and he's more talented than me. But other than that, he's okay guy with me. But so back about 2 years ago, when the Toronto Raptors were making their little playoff run to the NBA championship, I love looking at basketball. All my friends, guys I grew up playing ball with, they love looking at basketball. So we're sitting over in my house one day, we're looking in the garage, looking at the game, and they saw Drake, and Drake sitting at courtside. And so it's, hey man, let's go to a game and let's get courtside seats. If Drake can do it, we can do it. I'm like, I'm like, okay. So you guys want to go to a game, you want to get courtside seats. You know how much they cost, right? And one of my boys said, yeah, dude, we can do it, man. Come on. He said, I look online, I found out some tickets, dude. We can afford it. And they said, Chris, stop being cheap, man. I said, dude. I said, that's my middle name. So don't tell me something my middle name. But they said, let's do it. I said, okay. Again, keeping up with Jones, because we saw Drake. We looking at Drake. We said, man, if Drake can do it, we can do it. So we decided to go to a game, and we absolutely did go to a game. We had a great time. And you know, I saw Drake, and I don't know if he saw me or not, but I'm gonna show you where we were sitting because I kept yelling at Drake, but he wouldn't respond to me. But let me tell you where we were sitting. Okay, you see that last row at the top, at the very top? Yeah, that's where we were, and Drake is down at the bottom on the floor. Yeah, we're keeping up with the Joneses. And so the reality hit. No, we can't afford courtside seats. But you know what? We went to the game. We had a great time anyway. But again, though, Drake, I can't afford his seats, but can I go to a game and still enjoy myself? Absolutely. Can I still enjoy that atmosphere? I absolutely can. So instead of comparing myself to someone else, why not just enjoy the things I can enjoy that I can afford? And so that's one of the things, and I'll always share this screen and I make light of it because again, sometimes we get caught up with trying to keep up with other people. And again, it's one of the things that can undermine our financial health. We can make some bad decisions based on that. And again, all that's driven by emotion. So we have to make sure that we're getting that under control and realize our material possessions do not equal our self-worth. Okay. Let's go to our next slide. So impulse buying. I love this picture of her, man. This is absolutely awesome. Now, are any of us guilty of impulse buying? And I would say we all are. We all are. And so, you know, the thing is, I'm gonna pull all these up. We do it because it's exciting, man. It is exciting to go shopping. You know, like you can, and retailers know this, and advertisers know this. We can be having a bad day. We can be down. It can be rainy outside. You take us to a mall or somewhere we can go shopping. Man, we get excited. The stores encourage it for us to come in, and they put stuff right there at the end of the counter, or they have the big sale signs, or they make sure that we're coming up in there, man. And I'm telling you, it works. And we'll buy something. We'll get up to, and I'll give you a prime example. Everyone on this call have done this before. You just finished eating. You're full. Matter of fact, when you left the table, you made a proclamation. I'm full. I can't eat another thing. Oh, I got to run out to the store. I run out to the store and I'm looking for whatever. As a matter of fact, I'm in Home Depot or Lowe's to pick up some mulch. And I get ready to check out. I stop at the register, and right by the register, they have drinks and candy and what have you. How come if I'm just finished eating and I'm full and I just made that proclamation about 30 minutes ago before I came in the store, I pick up a candy bar, or I pick up a bag of chips, or I pick up a drink. Again, that's the impulse shopping. They're providing the cues for us, and we fall right in line and we do that. And not only we buy candy, whatever little knickknacks they have right at the front at the counter, we'll pick it up. Oh man, here's a little small flashlight. Now I got 100 flashlights at home. Why pick up another flashlight and buy a keyring flashlight? Oh, but I'm putting on my keyring just in case I need it. But again, though, that's the impulse shopping. So some of the things we tell people when to avoid that impulse shopping is to avoid browsing, don't take free samples, avoid trying on clothes. It says stop talking to salespeople. That's kind of rude, but again, you don't want to engage in that conversation. And shop alone. You know, one of the things that we do when it comes to impulse buying, man, if you're going shopping with your friend or a family member, man, we can spend somebody else's money quick. If Caroline and I went shopping together and I said, oh man, Caroline said, oh Chris, I like this sweater. It looks nice. I think I'm gonna buy it. You know what I'm gonna say? I mean, Caroline, go get that sweater, girl. You deserve it. It looks nice on you. Go ahead and buy it, right?
Treat yourself.
That's right. Treat yourself.
Yeah.
I'm spending her money. I'm not spending my money. So if you can, shop alone. But that impulse buying is so true, and we have to make sure that we kind of avoid those things that put us in a situation where we're doing impulse buying. And one of the conversations we had before the session started today, we were talking about since we've been at home with COVID, we've had a lot of impulse shopping during COVID. And I would tell you, we're doing a DoorDash, we're doing all type of services that deliver to us, and Amazon has been making bank on all the things we've been buying. And we buy stuff sometimes. Tell me this, and everybody's probably guilty of this. Have you ordered something on Amazon and it's been delivered to you a couple of days later and you forgot that you had ordered it? You're like, oh, I forgot I even ordered this. Oh, I forgot that was in my shopping basket. Oh, that's right. Oh, okay. So that's an impulse purchase. Because if you forgot that it was coming or you didn't have expectation for that to show up, how important was it for you to get that item in the first place? So those are some of the things we have to think about, okay? Let's go to our next slide. Bargain hunting. Dude, anybody here, those people who say they're good bargain shoppers, you like shopping, you like going for sales, and you're a smart shopper, you look around. But I would tell you this, if you're going for a bargain, you're looking to buy something on sale, it's always advantageous for you to do so. I want you to think about that. It's always advantageous for you to do so. And sometimes the best bargain is not buying at all. And I'll give you a prime example. And retailers get us with this all the time. They create a sense of urgency, and we have to feel like, man, we have to get it before anybody else gets it. And here's my example. And I'm not picking on these two stores, but it is what it is. The Dump and Haynes Furniture. They go out of business every week, and they have a going out of business sale every week that it's never to be repeated. You're never gonna get this deal again. You better come and get this furniture this weekend, while it's a limited edition. We only have this supply coming in, and then they actually run the same sale the very next week. And so they're creating that sense of urgency. And do sometimes we fall for it? Absolutely, we go. And my wife loves interior decorating, and she's like, "Oh my goodness, they're having a sale." And I say, "Honey, yeah, it's the same sale they had last week." And she looks at me like, "Dude, why do you do that?" I'm saying, "I'm just trying to keep us from going broke, from spending money on furniture." So again, those are some of the things you have to think about when we're doing our bargain hunting. Is it really a bargain for us, or are we doing just responding to a sale? Okay. So sale, sale, sale. And I'm gonna share with you the biggest mind flip in America right now. And I'm gonna share this with you. And when you see it, you're gonna shake your head, and you're gonna in agreement, because all of us have been guilty of this. So let's look at this first picture. Black Friday shopping. Have anybody been Black Friday shopping before? I know I have. I think all of us have. Online now it's Cyber Monday, and the weekend, everything, right? So we've all done that, and we've all looked for great deals, and we get in line, or we go online early to make sure we get the best deals. I was doing this presentation about 2 years ago for Department of Correction. I was talking to this officer, and he said, "Chris, you know what?" He said, "I have a problem with Black Friday shopping." He said, "For the last 10 years, I purchased a large screen TV for 10 years for Christmas." And I said, "What?" I said, "Dude, you must have a TV screen on every wall in your house." He said, "No." He said, "Bro, the deals are so good. I actually buy the TV screens and give them to my family members as presents." I said, "Dude, put me on your present list, because I want to get a TV from you." But he recognized it as an issue. But he said, "Man," he said, "I can't help myself." He said, "Chris, I look at the deals, and I was like, man, I got to go get this TV, right?" I said, "Okay." And he said, "Because I'm saving money." He said, "Dude, I'm saving money." I said, "You absolutely are." I said, "Okay, I appreciate that." So I'm gonna present a scenario to you. And Carolyn, this is not a trick question. You can answer, anybody else can answer. Here's the scenario. Carolyn, there's a dress on sale. You've been watching this dress. The dress normally is $100. And you've been watching this dress, and you said, "Man, I want to get this dress, but I don't want to spend $100. You know what? They have a 50% off sale, and the dress is now on sale for $50. Carolyn, you go and purchase the dress. How much money did you save? It is not a trick question. It's math. Normal cost $100. The sale price $50. You purchased the dress. How much money did you save? And I'm gonna give you a clue to the answer. How much did you save? Now, you tell me.
Do we have any participants who have an
answer, and this participants as well?
We have some guesses for 0, because I spent 50.
Okay.
We've got a lot of zeros coming through. I saved
got a lot of zeros. All right.
Yep. I spent money. I have saved 0. I think that's what most of our folks are guessing at this point.
And most of our folks are right on the money, because you're absolutely right.
Great job, y'all.
You didn't save any money. You spent $50. And here's the mind flip. Now, you guys are smart on this call, but you know what? I would tell you this. Everyone on this call has been a victim of this, and here's the mind flip. So I've known people, myself included, we see a good deal, we go to the store, we buy, we say, we'll call our friend and say, "Girl, I just came from the mall. I saw, man, they had 50% off, half off. I saved $100. Man, I bought 2 dresses. They were normal on sale for $200. I only spent $100. I saved $100, girl. Are you kidding me? You better go to the store and get you something, right? Here's the mind flip. And think about this. Anytime you take money out of your wallet and you hand it to someone, you're not saving, you're spending. And you know what? In this country, the advertisers are so good. The marketing is so good. They have conditioned us to think we're making purchases because we think we're getting a deal. We're making purchases and we're saving money. And we're not. We're spending money. And so again, though, we've been conditioned, and that's the biggest mind flip in this country right now. We spend money and we think we're saving it. We're not. And so I want us to flip that. I want us to flip that mindset. I want us to think about anytime we're spending money, it's costing us something. So we have to think about it. Man, is it worth me doing it? Because we're not saving money. I don't care if it's on sale. You've been watching that dress or whatever that item is. When you make that purchase, you're actually spending your hard-earned money. So you have to think about it. It's not a bargain. And again, you might get it at a lower cost, but you're actually spending money. All right. So I want you to think about that. Let's go to our next one. Spending versus savings. So you know what? We are an immediate gratification society, and we don't like saving money. Right now in the United States, the average household savings account balance for a household in the United States is $500 or less. That's not enough money for a 1-bedroom apartment in the Richmond area right now. If you lose your job, that's not enough money to pay 1 month's worth of rent. So that's a tough situation to be in. And you know the reasons why, because again, we're a immediate gratification society. So that delayed gratification of putting money away and saving it for a rainy day, we don't do that. But we need to get back to that because it helps us so much. And I'll give you a prime example. So in our lifetime, we're going to purchase, say we start driving at 18 years old. We start buying our first cars at maybe 20, 21. We're going to drive until we're 70. In our lifetime, on an average, we're going to buy 10 cars, some more, some less. We're going to actually buy 10 cars in our lifetime. And with those 10 purchases, we might buy some with cash. We might go into a deal. On average, it tells us we're going to actually go into a contract 5 to 6 times during our lifetime. The average loan for a car purchase is 5 years, 60 months. So if I was to tell you right now, and this is for everybody on the phone, I'm gonna say you don't need a car, but you like to get a new car. And I got a 5-year deal for you. The interest rate is 1.9%. That's ridiculous. That's what you're gonna pay me. Your car payment's gonna be $250 a month for 5 years. After that 5-year period, you're gonna pay me about $26,000. Would you say that's okay? That's an okay deal to go into? What you think? So 1.9% for the car loan. You don't need a car, but you like to get a new car. Your current car is old. $250 a month, and you can afford it. You check your budget. You can afford it. Do you think that's a pretty good deal to go into? What our responders are saying, Carolyn?
Okay, we have one guess of a no, not a great deal. Anybody else have we've chatted it in there, that 1.9% at $250 a month?
At $250 a month, about $25,000, $26,000 you're gonna pay at the end of that 5-year period, and that's a standard car loan. But now you don't need a car, but you like to get a new car. Your car is old, and I would tell you, for me, I would go for that deal. I would say that's not a bad deal because that's about average. Some cars cost more than that, some a little less, but that's not a bad car loan deal, right? And so I would say most people will go for that, right? But let's change it up. And if I was to come to you and say, hey, everybody on this phone call today, on this Zoom, I need you for the next 5 years. I need you to take $250 every month and put it away in a savings account. You can't touch it at the end of the 5-year until the end of the 5-year period. You got to put it away every month. I'm gonna pay you about 1.5% interest on it, but at the end of that 5-year period, you're gonna accumulate about $25,000. And now listen to me on this call. You can say, you know what, Chris, that's a good idea. I think I can do that. But in reality, you know what the numbers tell us? That most people are gonna say no. Because know what I mentioned in the beginning of this slide? I said the average household savings account balance in the United States is $500 or less. So that tells me that most people are not going to do that. But here's the thing where I want to change. Why not pay ourselves instead of paying someone else? We'll pay a car dealer $250 a month and don't even think about it. But we won't pay ourselves $250 a month. We have to hesitate and think about it. We should always pay ourselves first, make ourselves an essential bill. And that way, you know what? Who among us on this call right now couldn't benefit from having $25,000 saved in a savings account? All of us could. So again, we have to change that mindset. And you know, if you were to buy a car, or you have a car right now and you have a car note on it, when the end of that note is up, why not? That car is still going to be in good shape and you still can drive it. You can still drive for another 5, 10, 15 years. If we take care of our cars with regular maintenance, those things will drive 25, 30 years. So why not at the end of that car note, act like you still have the car note, and instead of paying the dealer or paying that bank, you pay yourself and just keep accumulating for the next 12 to 24 months. You can save anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 within that period of time. And we could benefit that from having a savings account. We won't miss it because we're already making the payment to the bank or to the car dealership. Why not make that payment to us? And that's how we can flip that. That's how we can start making some changes. Those little small changes like that helps our financial health. And that way we can get to saving money instead of relying on credit. So again, we're immediate gratification society, but we can change that. But we have to take some steps to do so. So again, make ourselves an essential bill, pay ourselves first. All right. Let's look at our
I
next
think
slide.
that
I'm
I
sorry,
think
go
that
ahead.
gets to, oh yeah, no, thank you. I think that gets to a couple questions that we've gotten in about saving for bigger events or how to help savings grow. And it sounds like you're kind of recommending reframe it from it's not going to grow immediately, right? But if you work at it, that's how you're going to be able to save up for those bigger events. That's how you're going to be able to actually have your savings grow.
Absolutely. And this screen we're going to is talking about our spending decisions, and we're going to talk about some budgeting, because the fundamental block that we have that's going to help us, that fundamental building block, is a budget. And here's the thing: when people hear budget, they always think, "Oh, Chris, you're trying to restrict me. I can't have any fun. You mean tell me I can't spend my money?" No, actually, I'm trying to empower you, because a budget can give you more spending choices and give you a better, help you make better spending decisions. And so, when you're thinking about saving money for whether it's a vacation, tuition, that dream house, that dream car, like Caroline mentioned, you can't do it overnight. We have to do it over a period of time. But when we have that budget in place, it helps us with the fundamental block, and we can actually work toward that. So here's some things we look at when it comes to our spending decisions. Let's take a look at this. So we make certain spending decisions out of habit. Sometimes, again, they're emotional spending decisions. We can break those. We can break those habits if we can, especially if we can't afford what we're buying. We need to break them. But then also, we have to determine if our needs are real or perceived. And so again, that goes back to those outside influences, taking their heart out the equation. And so it can help us with our spending decisions. So let me show you this screen right here. So here's a picture of 11 years worth of cell phones. Now, I already know the answer, but I'm gonna throw the question. I already know the answer, but I'm gonna throw the question out there anyway. How many of you on this call have had multiple versions or got a phone almost every year? And I'm not gonna say you got one all 11 years, but I know out of that 11-year period, you've probably purchased 5 to 6 new phones. I already know. I already know you have. And so again, I just want you to think about that. Think about that purchase. Here's the caveat I'm gonna throw in. When we buy a new cell phone, have we used all the features on the previous cell phone before we bought the new phone? And the answer to that question would be no. More often than not, we haven't used all the features on that previous cell phone, but we buy that new cell phone because you know what? The cell phone companies tell us to get that cell phone. They say, hey, you got to get the newest and the latest, get that cell phone. And you got to make sure it's the right color, the right size, got a new camera on it. Whatever the feature is that they're advertising, we're going to get it because we want to be in the know. We want to be, we're cool people, man. You know, but I'm going to tell you this, Caroline. Everybody on this call, everybody on this call, you guys are a bunch of cell phone snobs. I don't really like you that much, but I'm going to tell you why. Because if I came in person to do this presentation, and if I held up this old reliable right here, oh yeah, it's a flip phone, and it absolutely works. And if I pulled out this phone in a presentation and I took a call, You guys wouldn't laugh in my face. No, you're too good people for that. You wouldn't laugh at me right away. But know what you would do? You'll get on the phone or you'll call somebody. Hey, I was in this session and this guy made a phone call on a flip phone call. Flip phone. Man, he need to come. He need to come up to date. This dude brought out a flip phone. You guys will put that pressure on me to conform and buy a new phone because you know what? This is too old. Now I got to be real. I do have my phone. So, but again, though, that's the societal pressure we put on each other. And so not only are we getting the pressure from the outside, from the cell phone companies and from the marketing, but we also get it from our peers as well, because we don't want to seem like we're left out, we're behind. We want to make sure we get that phone, right? But look at this right here. So 2007 to 2017, look at the date on this. In our lifetime, y'all, we're going to spend $75,000 on cell phone, the equipment, the bills, and everything that go along with owning a cell phone. $75,000 in our lifetime. And if we have kids and we're buying cell phones for them, that bill goes up. So let's say we have 2 or 3 kids. I have 3 kids and I bought cell phones for each one of them, multiple cell phones. So by the time I finish with this, I'll probably be somewhere there $100,000 on cell phones in my lifetime. You know what $100,000 can buy you? It can buy you a house. That's a home. Especially when we think about that. And they actually the data is even broken down to stages. So in 10 years, we'll spend $12,000. In 20 years, $25,000. 30 years, $37,000. And it goes all the way up to that 60-year period. So think about that. From the time we're like, say, and we start using cell phones earlier and earlier. So that cost, some of it's deferred to our parents. But you know what? Again, if we get kids, we're going to catch up. We're going to spend that money as well. So again, $75,000 on cell phones. And here's the thing. We buy those cell phones and we don't think about the overall cost, because you know what? The cell phone company already told us that we need it. We need it now. If you don't get it right now, man, come on, Chris. You want to walk around with a flip phone and be the only one that don't have the newest and latest version for the phone. Oh yeah, the phone is going to come with 3 cameras and you can make a movie. You can make motion picture type videos and movies. I'm like, dude, I really want to look at myself in person. Why don't I look at myself on the camera with motion picture quality? So again, though, $75,000 worth of cell phone.
I kind of wish we had all of our attendees today up on the screen so we could see all the shocked faces looking at this scary number that we're going to be spending on cell phones. Chris, we are coming down to the end of our time for today. So do you have any, we've answered a lot of the questions that we've been getting in through the chat and through the Q&A. Do you have any parting words of wisdom before we turn it back over to Letitia and everybody get back to their days?
Absolutely. Yes. You know what? Let me show you this. Let me get to it real quick. Let me come through it. And I'm sorry, I went over a little bit. So this I want to share with you guys. So we started off with work hard, I deserve it, right? Here's what we want to end up with. We're going to end up with, before we make a purchase, do I need it? We're taking the heart out of the equation, putting our mind in the equation. A moment of pause. Do I need it? Do I need it now? What would happen if I didn't buy it? Can I get it for less? Do I have to charge it? Is money saved or debt repayment more important? And why spending choices equal control? So we want to take our heart out of the equation, put our mind in it, and think about it before we make our purchases. And that's all I have, because I got to go and buy me a new bike. No, I'm just playing. I'm kidding.
Chris, thank you so much. I have learned so much. I think from seeing the chats and the questions that were coming through, I think a lot of our attendees have really enjoyed your presentation today. And I'm going to think twice before I click checkout on my next Amazon purchase. So appreciate you. Letitia, I'll turn it back over to you to take us home.
Yes, thank you, Carolyn, for moderating today's conversation, and to Chris for your knowledge and expertise on spending. I know that it hit a little too close to home for me, so I greatly appreciate it. If you enjoyed today's conversation, we encourage you to register for our upcoming webinars that are happening in the Adulting 101 series. We'll go ahead and link that in the chat for you. And also, lastly, everyone should now also see a link to a short survey to complete so that we can get feedback and thoughts on today's event and how we can best shape our upcoming events. If you aren't able to grab that link before we end today, no worries. We will also be sending it out via email within 48 hours along with the recording. On behalf of VCU Office of Alumni Relations, the VCU Alumni Recent Graduate Council, and Virginia Credit Union Financial Success Center at VCU, thank you for joining us and have a great rest of your day. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.